I would focus more on the percentage of your income. Because a lot of people focus on that. Oh, I want to put 300. No, well, maybe that's too big of a piece of your pie. Focus on the percentage. So if you start with a goal of, okay, every single month, whatever money I bring in from work, that I'm going to take 5% of it first, and I'm just going to invest that. The rest of the money, 95% of what I make, that is what I can live off of. And then if there's anything left after I pay for my rent and my bills and buy food and do all the things I need to do, then I can keep investing with the extra money more.
Hey guys, we're in for a treat today. Super treat. You're gonna be in for a lot of high energy investing insights. Because in the podcast, we have Yanely Espinal from New York, where she's going to share all of her insights about investing. So let's get into the thick of the action. You said first that your background was you were a teacher. Yes?
Yes,
So,
that's right. I was a classroom teacher. I taught 3rd and 4th grade in Brooklyn, New York.
how did it start? How did you shift from being a consumer / teacher into an investor? Super rich investor. Okay.
So actually it started by mistake because my first job when I was a teacher that first time, that was in 2011 to 2012. They gave me a piece of paper packet and I had to fill it out with my job. And it was for a retirement account, a 403B plan. And if you're a teacher in New York or, even anywhere in the United States, usually you get a retirement plan for your teaching job. But I had no idea. What is a 403B plan? What does this mean? What is a retirement account? And then it has some names there to choose from, like mid-cap aggressive growth fund, small cap growth fund. I was like, what the heck is that? What does that mean? What is growth fund? What is mid-cap? What is large cap? I didn't know anything. So I was so scared and I just didn't take advantage of it. I was just like, I don't know what this is. And the reality is, the earlier you start investing in a retirement account or any type of account in the stock market, the better you are, because over time it compounds and compounds and compounds, and you can make so much more money the longer you let it sit and grow. So I didn't really take advantage of it my first year. And then the second year, I just copied off the paper from somebody next to me. She was filling out the 403B, and I looked at her and she said moderately aggressive. I put moderately aggressive, and I remember I just copied everything she said and then I submitted the paper. So it was sort of by mistake that I started investing, but I didn't really understand what I was doing, where my money was going.
It's easy to have money deducted also, but from what you were telling me also, you are really intentional now in your investing. What caused that? What pushed that? Especially the context and the narrative right now that people our age are not really into investing. We like to buy stuff more. So
that's right.
What pushed you that instead of buying this LV bag, this Prada bag, I place my money in investing first?
Well, I wanted to buy the Louis Vuitton bag. I wanted to have Chanel and Gucci and all those things because my friends had it, and it's like supposedly make you cool and popular and everything. But at the same time, I was thinking about my family, thinking about my mom and dad. Like, they immigrated to the United States, to New York, when I was a baby. And they, to this day, right now, my dad, he just turned 70 and he could not retire because he never had any investments. He never had a retirement account. He never had anything. He only had a little bit of money in a bank account, and that's it. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, when I get to be daddy's age, when I turn 70 like Papi, I'm going to not be able to have the money that I need to retire, even though he worked in this country for 30, 40 years. He has nothing to show for it. Like, why is that happening? So then I started reading about retirement, and I started to find out that people in this country, even if they're putting money away in a retirement account, it does not grow to be enough for them to retire. So I'm like, but why is that? Then I start reading more, and it says, well, the fees in these mutual funds are very high. So they're eating away these people's money because of the fees every single year. And these people have no idea. We Americans, we have no idea what's the fees in our account. If we do have a 401k or 403b, you just put money in there and you don't know what are the fees that they're charging you, what are the investments inside of that investment account. Most people say, I don't know. And so I started to get more in control, because the more I learned about how problematic it is that our country, we don't invest enough. We in old age, when you go to retire, you're struggling and you depend on the government and you depend on your children to take care of you. I don't want to be like that. I want to be able to take care of myself, and I want to have a big giant pile of money so I could take care of myself. I could pay for my medical bills, I can travel, I can take care of anything I need to. So that's when I decided, okay, you know what, I have my 403b, good, but I'm still, on top of that, I'm still going to invest more. I'm going to open up a brokerage account, and I'm going to find out what type of investments should I put inside a brokerage firm. In a brokerage account, I opened a fund, and I started to research, okay, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, what are the different investments, and how can I pick the best ones for me? So that's why I started to do more than just retirement.
I have a lot of questions from everything you said. I want to, because there's just so much to drill into that. Before I ask about the investment related questions, you mentioned that your dad at 70 years old didn't have enough. What's the culture like there, that when they're older, do they rely on their kids for financial support? Or is it, I have to fend for myself?
I think for me, I can only speak for my family from Dominican immigrant experience. When my grandparents were in Dominican Republic, my father and his siblings, they had a collection fund, and they would put together money and send it to my grandpa and my grandma to help them. So it's sort of like in their mind, I think that they thought, like, when we become older in that age, our children are going to collect, some money in a collection fund to take care of us, because that's what we did for our parents. And so I think that they sort of maybe think like, oh, we're going to have a lot of kids, and then all of those kids can take care of us. So my dad has 9 kids.
Whoa.
My aunt and uncle, they had 10 children, 12 children, 7 children, 13 children. And I think to myself now, I wonder, like, maybe why they have so many kids, because they know that if they have more kids, that's more money that later they can take care of them. Instead of thinking that they can have less children and they can invest, I don't think anybody has ever taught them about investing. I don't think anybody ever explained to them how the stock market works. So they never were able to really take advantage of building wealth through investing.
Okay. So maybe you're their retirement plan.
I hope not. I'm trying to get my dad to save his own money now.
You mentioned before we started the video that you are more into passive investing. Can you tell me more about that? And the reason why I'm asking this is I love trading stocks. I believe trading is the game, but I don't believe also it's for everyone. That there will be a specific set of people that, okay, trading is for me. Okay, investing is for me. Okay, for me, I'm not even gonna dabble into anything that's equity related. How did you get into that? What was the main rationale that you wanted to invest in something that's more passive?
So for me, I just wanted to beat inflation. That was the big thing. I started to learn about inflation when I was reading about personal finance. I was reading books and listening to TED Talks and podcasts, because I had a lot of credit card debt. When I finished college, I had $20,000 of debt from credit cards and one little small student loan that I had from when I went to study abroad in France. They paid for it I paid for that program with a small loan. So, but most of my debt was always credit card debt. And in order to learn, how do I pay off this debt? How can I not ever, be in this debt again? I started to read books. And in those books, they taught me about credit, taught me about how to fix my credit score, how to start investing. And that's when I realized that money, every time you put money in the bank, every single year, it's worth a little bit less. At the end of the year, it loses about 2% of its purchasing power because of inflation. So that's why, when I was a little girl, I would go to the store and I would buy, chips, potato chips, or sandwich, or some juice. And I would maybe pay like $1 for everything. But today, you go to that same store, you're not going to get chips and juice and sandwich for $1. You're going to be paying $4 or more, because everything is more expensive over time, because the money is worth less. So in order for your money to keep growing and to, have the same purchasing power, you have to meet inflation or beat inflation. You have to get more interest back than the inflation rate. So since the inflation rate right now on average is about 2%, I wanted to move all my money to a bank account that gives me 2% or more in interest. So that's a high yield online bank account. I moved all my money. I took my money out of the bank and that I had, and I went to the online savings account. And then from there, I said, okay, what more can I do? Because if all I'm doing is getting 2% now, that just meets inflation. But how can I get more so that my money grows? That's when I realized I have to start investing. And I started reading about investing, and I'm like, you know what? I got a lot going on in my life. I have 8 brothers and sisters. I have to take care of my mom and dad. I have 8 nieces and nephews. I have my friends. I have my boyfriend. I have my job. I have my YouTube channel. I just started a podcast. I would love to write a book one day. Do I have time or interest to be trading stocks, to be researching the stocks, to be looking and analyzing at their performance and looking and paying attention to the company and the, you know, I don't think I want to look at PE ratio. I don't think I want to pay attention to options and trading. Maybe one day, but right now with everything in my life at the age of 30, I decided that passive investing is the best approach for me. So I just take $1,500 every month, no matter what, and I invest all of that. And that way, you know, in 10 years, 20 years, I would look at my account and say, wow, if I kept on putting $1,500 every month, that is really going to grow in a way that I can then use that money for anything that I want. If I want to retire early, if I want to put a down payment on a house, if I want whatever, because I've been investing for that money to grow.
I mean, that's very inspiring. $1,500 no matter what. I have a question on that. That $1,500 into one fund, or you split it into different passive accounts?
I do split it into multiple passive accounts. So some of it is I put it into a brokerage account with a brokerage firm, and there I just have 100% index fund with all American stocks. So Vanguard Total Stock Market. That's most of where my money goes. And then I have another fund with a robo-advisor just on my phone. I just set it up so automatically take $500 every month, and it's split between a lot of different funds. So some bond funds, some index funds for stock funds, some foreign international stock, and you know, so it's kind of like a mix, so a little bit more diversified versus my main index fund, which is Vanguard Total Stock Market, gets most of the money. And then on top of that, I have my 401k with my full-time job, where 10% of my salary just goes straight into that, and that's index funds through Vanguard as well. So it's a lot, but I try to, you know, mix it up and cover all my bases.
But what's interesting about that is, if there's one thing you guys can get from this, is it's the discipline to put in 1,500, because it's easy after watching a video to get inspired and to put an amount of money. But when you are in year number 2, year number 3, and then you see your friends buying this car, going to this place, it's the discipline to follow through when it's hard. And it's nicer to earn 10% of $1 million than 10% of 100,000, because you're earning a percentage, but if your volume is larger, then you feel it. You feel it more.
Way more. That's right. And it's the same thing with saving. I always tell people, before you even think about investing, make sure you save up a big pile of money in the bank first. And the more interest you get back in interest in your bank account, the better, because you want to get 2% of, you know, the money instead of 1% or instead of 0.05%. But at the same time, if you're getting 2% and you only put $500 in the bank, and I put $2,000 in the bank, even though we're both getting 2%, I'm getting more dollars, because 2% of 2,000 is way more than 2% of 500. So we always have to think about, don't focus so much about the percentage. Of course, it's important, but what is the amount of money that you're going to put? How much can you maximize to put aside? For me, that was stop going out to eat all the time and make my own food at home. And another thing was stop shopping so much. If I need to replace something that I have, I will. But if not, I don't need to shop new clothes, new shoes. Like, I need to cut that out. Like, I'm not J-Lo. I'm not a celebrity. I don't got to walk around with a different outfit every single day. I'm not like famous. Like, you don't need to do that. And then another thing was, a lot of my friends in New York City, they have their own apartment. I was sharing an apartment with roommates for a long time so I could save money on my rent. And then the last thing I'll say is, my sister and a lot of my friends, they were getting cars. As soon as they graduate college, I want my own car. And I'm like, why? That's gonna be car insurance, a car payment, car maintenance. You're gonna have to pay gas. We're talking about almost $1,000 a month or more on one car. If I only spend $120 a month on my Metro card and I take public transportation, and I only spend $120 on that. In New York City, that's easy for me. I know there's a lot of places where you cannot live without a car. I get it. But even if you need a car, do not buy a brand new car and take a huge loan to buy a brand new car. Get a certified pre-owned vehicle, save your money. But I think these are things that is not cool. It's not cool to do these things. And once you stop worrying about looking cool to other people and start worrying about being cool, with money for yourself,
Mm.
that's when you're actually going to see results in your life, in your financial life.
Because here's the thing, a lot of people, and this is across the board, they spend money to look rich, but it
Yes,
doesn't mean that they're really rich. They want to get the prize, but they don't know that if they spend on this, the effects of it, they lose the value of compounding, they lose the value of their money working hard for them.
exactly.
There's one thing I want to zero in also is all of those things that people are buying right now because of the coronavirus. It doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
anymore. It doesn't matter if you have a new car, nice clothes, nice shoes. You can't really use it. You can't really go out. So if there's one
No,
if there's one thing this has taught us, it's a shift also in priorities. Um,
that's
I, li-
right.
I like what you said that you were dramatically very frugal in the way you lived. You were, but in the same way also you were doing that because you had a goal that you wanted to have more money. That when you get older, you get to live life at your own terms. So you wanted to be financially free. You wanted to live life at your own terms. But given that you said before we started this interview that in your profession you don't make much.
Right.
What do you advise people also who have that excuse that my salary is not enough, I'm not making
Mm-hmm.
too much? What's the best way for them to invest in the stock market, or at least in equities, or even in funds? That even if
Yep.
they have a small amount of money, what could they do? And I've seen what you were doing. You allocated $1,500 no matter what happens. This is what I should do. Do you suggest that to people that they just put an amount and then push on with it?
I would focus more on the percentage
Mm,
of your income, because
mm,
a lot of people focus on that. Oh, I want to put 300. No, well, maybe that's too big of a piece of your pie. Focus on the percentage. So if you start with a goal of, okay, every single month, whatever money I bring in from work, that I'm going to take 5% of it first, and I'm just going to invest that. The rest of the money, 95% of what I make, that is what I can live off of. And then if there's anything left after I pay for my rent and my bills and buy food and do all the things I need to do, then I can keep investing with the extra money more. But start with 5%. Okay, then let's say that's going really well. Now try to go up to 10% of your income. Invest 10, then 15, then 20%. Right now, I'm investing almost half, almost 50% of every single money I bring in. I just immediately invest half of it.
mm,
That's hard to do, but I don't have a car. I don't own a house. I don't have children. I purposefully live a life where I'm being super, super purposeful right now with my money. So then when I'm ready to do all those things that I want to do, I don't have no problem affording that kind of life that I want.
mm.
And if you don't make a lot of money, when I was teaching, I was making a little bit under 40, about $40,000 a year teaching. And in New York City, that is not a
Not
lot
so
of
much.
money
Mm,
because rent is very
mm,
high. But I knew to myself in my head, I'm thinking, okay, what else can I do besides my teaching job? Because this is not enough money. When
mm,
I go home, what else can I do? I can start putting YouTube videos and collect money from YouTube. Okay,
mm,
good. I started doing that. What else can I do? On Saturdays and Sundays, I can tutor or go do another job. Good. Okay, I'm going to do that. And so then I started bringing in more money. But a lot of times people think, oh, well, my job. Your job is just your job. It's just one job that you have. You can have a side hustle. You can create a business. You can post on the internet. You can create a course, whatever you're really good at, sell it. You have the internet in your fingertips, right?
mm,
So use it to generate more money. Don't trap yourself inside of your job and think that your job is the only way that you can make money, because it's not. You can make money a lot more ways than just one
mm,
job. And once I realized that, that's when I started to see more money coming in. And then I realized, oh, maybe I don't need to stay a teacher forever. Maybe if I have a passion for something else, maybe I could do something else. And
mm.
you saw my video on my YouTube channel where I say I quit my job and I changed totally to only posting and doing things for personal finance on YouTube, doing other gigs. Eventually, I took another job because I like the idea of making an impact in America. Like one day, every school is going to be teaching kids about money. If I
Mm,
can be part of that, that is amazing. Like I'm one of those people that money is important, but for me, I want to have a meaningful impact in the world. And if I could be part of the reason why every teenager in America learns about money in their school, that would make me so proud of myself. That would make me so happy. So I started taking a job with a company that would train teachers to teach students about money. But if
mm,
it wasn't the right job for me, I don't need to take that job. I don't need that. And so
mm,
that's the shift in your mind, is start with a percentage and don't limit yourself to just your job. Let your job just be
mm.
one of your income streams. but have many income streams. Don't just have one. And investing is a type of income stream. So even if you just start with 5% of your salary, maybe $20, maybe $50, but eventually you can do a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more.
Amazing, amazing stuff. I have this question. So this is one thing for a lot of long-term investors, a lot of people who are passive. I just want to know what your technique is, your strategy is here, because I'm sure a lot of people will be asking this. First question, March 2020, the market dropped massively. What were you doing at that time? Were you thinking that, should I sell this? Should I buy more? Should I hold on to my position?
I think everybody has those thoughts because we're human and we're going to get scared. Like we get scared of what's going to happen to my money. But you know, I learned the hard way. I learned from experience. There was a market drop in January of 2012. There was a little bit of a market drop at that time. It was not so big like now, but it was a little drop. I got scared and I'm like, oh, should I sell? What should I be doing? So I logged into my robo-advising app and I moved my risk from 10 down to 6.
Whoa.
Now, 10 out of 10 means that you're putting 100% of your money into the stock market, and putting it down to 6 means you're only putting 60% of your money in the stock market and 40% into the bond market, which is very safe, very slow, not like a lot like stock. So I did that and I was like, oh, okay, good. Now I can sleep better at night because I fixed it. I fixed the problem. Well, another month later, the stock market was going up and up and up. Everybody said, yeah, okay, we're making our money back. And I go, yeah, okay, I can't wait to see. And I log into my account like, where's my money? No, it was the same. I did not make any gains. Why? Because I was not in it. You have to be in it to win it. If you get scared and you take your money out of the stock market, when the stock market goes up, you will not be there for the ride. You took your money out, and I learned that. I said, oh, I missed out on the opportunity to make money because I moved it from stocks to bonds. I can't do that. So I moved it all the way back to 10. So that's 100% stocks. And I have never adjusted it since then unless I wanted to adjust it on purpose. So, but you can't be scared. That's why you're investing for the long term. It's going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. And you just sit back and watch. Everybody else is freaking out and you just laugh. You just laugh at them. You guys are funny. You guys are freaking out for no reason. It's going to go back up over time. Just relax, you know. But what helps you to just relax is that you don't rely on that money that you invested. You better have a fat bank account with a lot of cash, so you don't need to go, oh, but I needed that money for my baby, or I needed that money for my rent. Well, then you should never have invested it in the first place. It should have been in the bank. Only invest money that you don't need in the short term. So if it goes down, you're not going to be worried about that.
I see so many people borrowing money to invest in the stock market. So that's
I hate that.
So, yeah.
I was reading an article in the New York Times today, and it was talking about how this guy, he went to his credit card companies and he borrowed money against his credit card to invest in Robinhood. And he put the money in Robinhood, and then he lost it all. Or he was up to like almost $1 million, and now he only has $6,000 left. You gotta make a smarter financial decision. Save up the money and then be strategic about it. Because if you end up owing somebody money and you lose that money, now you're gonna end up filing for bankruptcy or ducking out, hiding from the people trying to collect money from you. Do you want to live that kind of life? No, don't. You know, just do the work up front. Save up the money. Invest your own money when you're ready.
And here's the thing about that. I've been saying this all the time. If it's your own money, it's success money, the confidence, the aggressiveness is so different versus investing something that you borrowed, because you won't be able to make trades that other people, or at least investments that other people are not doing. But just to zero in on what you said, so you don't advise people, if it was also you, when it drops, don't get out, hold your position. But will you add when it's lower, or will you just stay the same?
If you have extra money that you don't need when it's down, take advantage, because that means that everything is on sale. It's like when you go to the store and you see that they have 2 bags of rice for the price of 1. Are you going to say, no, but I only need 1 bag of rice? Or you're going to say, well, if I can get 2 for the price of 1, then I might as well take 2 bags for the same price of for 1 bag of rice today. That's what's happening when the stock market is dropping. The shares of stock available are lower prices. If you can afford that, to put more than you usually do, go ahead. But don't do it if you can't afford that. That's the problem. I think a lot of people go, oh, this is a buying opportunity, so I'm not going to pay my child's school tuition. I'm going to use that money and I'll pay them later. Like, what are you doing? No, that's not the way to do it. You know, if you have extra money. So for me, I always try to have a lot of cash reserved. Like my savings account is always fat. And I know like a lot of people think I'm crazy to have so much money in a savings account, but it's because for me, I know that I will never need to worry if the stock market drops. And if the stock market drops, I could take a little bit more of my cash and throw it in there, 2 extra on top of the money that I invest. That's a nice thing to be able to do. You gotta be ready with the money that you don't need for something else.
Amazing. You were talking about something that you would leave for the long term. What's long term for you? How many years long term for you?
7 to 10 years or more. So if I want to buy a house in 5 years, I would save up for my down payment to the house in a high yield savings account or a CD. But if I wanted to if I wanted to buy a house in 10 years, I would invest in the stock market, you know, and just be a little more conservative. You're going to get more even from bonds than you're going to get from a CD or from a bank account. So even if you put money in bonds instead of your savings account to get a down payment in 10 years, even that is better. So I think you've got to take advantage of the markets if you want to do something 7, 10 years or more. For me, if it's less than 7 years, then I just like to keep it in my bank account because you never know what's going to happen in 3 years, 5 years. I mean, look, every time when this happened to coronavirus happened to people, I was getting all my friends and family texting me, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm like, why are you freaking out? You should have your emergency fund and you should forget about the investments because it should be long term. You only freak out if you needed that money. And if you needed that money, it shouldn't have been in there. So it's kind of like it goes in a circle again and again. Like you know what you shouldn't do. And it's scary no matter what to see it drop. But at that time, you keep telling yourself, I'm prepared for this. I knew that this was going to happen. I knew this day was going to come. Now I'm going to wait for it to pass.
Amazing. If there's one thing that I got from that, when the markets drop, if you have extra, put in as much as you can, put in your extra money. Just don't put in your mother-in-law, just your money. Just your money.
Don't put your rent money. Don't put your baby's diapers. You need diapers for your baby. Don't waste the diaper money on investments. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay, this is just something a couple of days ago. When Tesla hit an all-time high, that I should have been there. I should have bought that individual stock. What was going through your head? Because a lot of people who are investing passively are thinking, if I invested it here in Amazon or Facebook or Google or Zoom, I would have made more. What was going through your mind?
I like to just never think like that because I tell myself, why are you mad? You have Tesla and Google, you have Amazon and you have Facebook. They're all inside of your index fund. Just because you didn't put only money in those doesn't mean that you don't have exposure to those stocks. Those stocks are part of your portfolio. Be happy that you have Tesla and Facebook and Amazon inside your portfolio. If you didn't have them there at all, then of course you can be mad like, oh, my portfolio does not have any Tesla in it. But what I like about index funds is that it has all of the entire market. You're exposed to all the companies. So even when some are doing bad, the ones that are doing good will balance out those losses. So for me, I just try to tell myself, don't freak out too much if a company's doing, think about how much you can make. Just remember, you do have that company in your portfolio and you're okay. Just keep on putting more money and you're going to be okay.
We were talking about passive investing. Can people be really rich just by being a passive investor and maintain their day job? Because context, everyone is glamorizing, you have to day trade in order for you to make this money, to buy your Lamborghinis.
Right. But that's right. It's so ridiculous.
Can you be rich with your job and just investing passively?
It depends on the timeline that you are expecting to be rich. I expect to have $1 million from other things. But if we're just talking about my investments only, my stock investments in the stock market, they're going to hit $1 million no matter what. By the time I'm 50 or by the time I'm 55, they're going to be over $1 million because I'm putting so much money in and just letting it grow that even if it returns 5 or 6%, even at that rate, it's still going to hit $1 million in 30 years, in 25 years. But if you are just obsessed with getting rich from one day to the next, you want to be rich tomorrow. You want to be rich next week so you can impress this girl that you like. Or so you can go on Instagram and put pictures of you in, Thailand. If you want to show off like that now, of course, you're going to be more obsessed with the idea of trading in order to make more money faster. And I just always tell myself, everything is a trade-off. Every choice that you make, there's pros and there's cons. For me, being a passive investor, the cons is that I'm not going to be rich in 3 years or in 5 years. Maybe it's going to take me 15 or 20 years to get rich. But the pros, I can enjoy my life, my family, my friends, the freedom of being a normal person and not being obsessed and addicted to the market all the time, constantly trading. Like, if you have the discipline to wake up at 5 in the morning or wake up whatever the market's open for you, whatever time that is, and trade for 2 3 hours and stop and never look at it until the next day when it opens again, then you should be trading, because you have the discipline to turn it off. When you finish trading and you make your last trade and you turn off the computer, you don't look at it on your phone. You don't read about it in Instagram, social media, in the stock market apps. You don't pay attention to what people are saying. You're not texting about it. You live your life. And then tomorrow when the market opens again, you can trade again. But only if you have that discipline to tell yourself, this is a window of time where I'm going to do this trading activities, these trading behaviors, options, stocks, whatever, Forex, whatever you like. And in that time, when it's over, it's over. If you cannot unplug and disconnect, then you gotta know that you're making a trade-off. And the cons is that you're going to be addicted. You're going to be obsessed.
Before I go to my last question, you said relationships. What's more important for you, money or love life?
Oh, that's hard. That's so hard. My goodness, money or love? You know what? I would like to pretend here and say like, oh, love is more important because I'd rather, but do I really want to be poor, broke, just going back to how I used to live, struggling, like squashing roaches in my apartment just to have a boyfriend? Or would I rather be alone with money? I think I would rather be alone with money because I can make a lot of impact in the world. I can create organizations, I can give money, I can donate, and I don't need somebody else to love me to be happy. I think I could be alone. If my boyfriend watching this, he's gonna be so mad at me. But I'm telling the truth. I think I could be alone and rich and be happy.
Okay, final question. There's a lot of people who lost their jobs, lost their income, lost their businesses. They're not doing so well. A lot are scared, anxious, and fearful. Rightly so, because we're sitting in a pandemic that no one would have ever predicted. Any words of encouragement for them, especially for those who are scared about what their future will be?
Yeah, I definitely think that right now, do what you can with what you have. That means what you have right now is time, because we are all locked inside. You might not have a lot of money, but trust me, when you wake up in the morning, you have a full day ahead of you. What are you doing with every minute of every hour of every day? Are you really and truly figuring out creative ways to make more money right now online? Are you learning about money? Are you reading books about personal finance, reading books about investing, listening to podcasts? If you're watching this right now, you're already taking a good step because you're paying attention to content that's helping you to improve yourself, especially in the area of investing and money. Or maybe you're interested in trading. Learn more about trading before you start doing it. These are the types of things I think we should be focusing on. And just rest assured knowing that right now, the government and a lot of the companies that lend money out are doing what they can to help you. So if you cannot pay your credit card bill, or you cannot pay your cable bill or your electric bill, do not sit quietly at home and cry about it. Pick up the phone and call that company and tell them that you're struggling. They will help you. They will either waive the payment, delay it a little bit, talk to you about a payment plan. But if you just stay quiet and you just think to yourself like, oh man, I'm never going to be able to figure this out, this is terrible, you're not alone. A lot of people are struggling, and these companies are figuring out ways to help you. So don't be silent. If you're struggling, speak up, ask for help, and then use the time that you have to figure out ways to generate more income. Take free courses online, watch free webinars, go on YouTube, and learn as much as you can now. So when we go back to normal and you have to go to work every day, you use this time to learn as much as you can, so that later when you lose the time that you had and you have to go back to working and you have to go back to everything else, you have taken advantage of this time to make yourself so much better.
Amazing. Speaking of content, you have a YouTube channel. How can people subscribe and watch, and what can they expect from your channel?
Yes. Okay. So first of all, I need to put more content on my YouTube channel. My followers and my subscribers have been asking me, where are your videos? I've been slowing down a lot because there's so much going on, but I will be putting more content. I usually put one video a week, and I want to get back to 2 or 3 videos a week. And eventually I want to get like you, Marvin, and be posting a video every day. That's my goal. Okay. But you can find me on Miss Be Helpful. It's SBE Helpful. And what you can expect, I post videos about everything, about credit, about investing, about budgeting, about saving, things related to, what's going on right now in the world with money. And then I also right now started a podcast this year. So I've been posting podcast episodes just like this one, where I have conversations with really great people who have made really cool money decisions or money changes, or maybe they overcame some tough money challenges. And I interview them, and then I put those on my YouTube channel as well. So anywhere on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, anywhere where you can find stuff on social media, you can look up Miss Be Helpful.
So guys, I'm gonna put her channel in the description below. You can just click it. Please subscribe. Even if you unsubscribe to me, it's okay, but subscribe to her. Support her. Let's support her, and it's nice to see people who are creating an awareness on finance and investing, because I really believe that in the era we are right now, it's so important that you have a hold over your cash and your money, so that you know what's happening. You're not walking into what's gonna happen. How do I make money? How do I pay my rent? How do I pay my bills? And that's what she's talking about, and that's what you can learn from her. So subscribe, and not just subscribe, smash the bell so you get updated.
That's right. The like button, the bell, subscribe, all the things. Do all this. Click everything on the page.
So that's it. Thank you, Yanely. I hope that you guys got a lot from her. So this is what we'll do. If you have any questions, put it in the comment section, or any comment or feedback from this video. But if you want Yanely to be back, put it below. I want Yanely, hashtag I want Yanely, and then we're gonna see if we can get her back in the next video. So thank you so much to everyone who joined us, to you, Yanely, and I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon, and God bless you all.